Hello there, Oz.
Hello, Curtis.
Hey, what movie are we watching this week?
This week we're watching the movie marriage of 8 Mile
Yep.
meets The Last Dragon
Okay.
with a dash of Wild Hogs and a whole lot of The Color Purple.
Yes. Nailed it.
This week we're watching Purple Rain.
The Color Purple. I don't think there could be a better punchline for this than The Color Purple, literally and figuratively.
Yeah,
A lot of purple in this movie.
Yeah, 8 Mile and Color Purple were my bookends immediately, and then I filled in the blanks from there.
Yeah,
and I'm like, go ahead.
As we do, I would have put, if it was mine, 8 Mile would have been in there also. Half Baked would have been in there too. But
thought about it, I did. But I went Last Dragon for Apollonia's trip to stardom.
Yeah.
Not so much Glowing or Bruce Leroy.
A lot of kung fu in Purple Rain.
Purely for the Apollonia vanity parallels.
Yes.
And then Wild Hogs, because I almost put Easy Rider, and I'm like, that's too easy. Guys on a motorcycle. I'm like, Wild Hogs, that'll be funny.
Well done, my friend.
Like, I need a motorcycle movie. So, welcome back, listeners, viewers, to another week. Let's Talk About Flicks, the podcast where we take a weekly movie to satisfy a monthly theme. I'm one of your hosts, Oz.
I'm the other host, Curtis.
And we definitely want to give a shout out to our biggest fans, our
Wild Hogs.
Don S, Aaron A, Mandy K, Melissa L, Colleen K, and Lila. And thank you guys for your patronage.
Thank you all.
Yeah. Purple Rain, Princess Purple Rain.
Yes. As we could continue Movies with Musicians month.
Yes.
Princess Purple Rain.
Yeah. We talking pre-show, a flawed film. Mm-hmm. Not a purely bad film.
Yeah.
But it's a movie that, I mean, it's a touchstone of American cinema. I mean, I think it's grown legs since. It was a huge hit when it came out. But again, it came out, this was like Prince's blow up.
Yeah.
His glow up, if you will. Like, he was a thing, but I mean, it's like this movie. It's
what really made him mainstream.
Partnered with the soundtrack for this movie. Like everything came out at once. The soundtrack for this film, the movie, like I read, I'm sure you saw it too, that it was the first time ever that like number one song, number one album, and number one film at the box office all at once. It's like that was Prince in 1984. Yeah. Like that's what it is.
The toy line from this movie took off as well.
It did. Like, little motorcycles, Matchbox, and yeah,
there's just kids everywhere wearing, purple velvet.
Crushed velvet. Yeah. I did joke with Jenny. I'm like, no, because she's a big Prince fan. I said, had I gotten out of the car at the restaurant on our first date dressed in like Prince, I go, would you have continued the date? She's like, yeah, I'd continued the date. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't have shown up in a car. I would have had a purple motorcycle had I dressed this way. But I also made the comment, I go, I think it takes a certain physique to make an outfit like that work. Like, you can't put it out like...
You've got to be 5'2" and 120 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah. I said, it takes a very low level of body fat to make that work. You put something like that on a guy like me, I look like Nandor. And
Nandor.
Yeah, I look like an extra on What We Do in the Shadows. So
I was just watching What We Do in the Shadows the other day. The episode where it's my favorite episode, where was it Matt Berry's character goes on the run and takes on the persona that's the Jackie Daytona.
Yeah.
Regular human guy, Jackie Daytona.
Yeah, those are my favorite parts too. I do love the Jackie Daytona sub character. Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, fun enough movie.
Yeah. And there's some heavy pieces that we'll get into. They don't detract from it at all, but definitely a movie where it's almost like it knew in advance what it had with the soundtrack to this film, and really like because I had not seen this before. I'd seen a snippet of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Prince wasn't even in that snippet of the movie. It was Morris Day and the Time doing Jungle Love. Like that's the only part of this movie I'd seen. Mm-hmm. But I got to the point where I was even calling what the next song was going to be. Like I go, well, we should probably cut back to Prince singing "I Would Die for You," like knowing that was still on the soundtrack.
Yeah,
and it was next scene. It was cut back. And Jenny looked at me. And she's like, I'm like, I've seen a movie or two. I had a feeling
I could put a set list together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, who's in this? Well.
Well, there's only a couple real actors. Quote,
I was gonna say, who's in this movie, but no, like that's how the cast should have been broken down. Who plays themselves and who's actually playing a different character?
Yes, we'll do that. We will actually. I'm going to start with the actors, and then we'll do everybody playing themselves or a version of themselves. There's only 3 trained actors in this movie, and that would be Olga Karlatos as "quote unquote" mother. Clarence Williams III, that's right, the Mod Squad's Clarence Williams III, and half-baked Clarence Williams III,
yes,
as father. And then I read in there that technically Apollonia was a trained actress.
She is. Yeah.
So Apollonia, and here's the segue, as Apollonia, the love interest to the lead character, the kid, capital the kid, played by Prince.
I did almost put Charlie Chaplin's The Kid in my movie Marriage.
That could have worked as well,
simply for that, but I'm like, we're gonna go with something else.
In Dick Tracy, was the kid called the Kid also?
The Kid, yeah. And that's we could have had that movie done this month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
Spoiler: we don't.
No, we don't.
We're actually saving Dick Tracy for another month.
Yes, which I'm excited about that. Whatever that month is the future.
Yeah, I am too.
So we've got Morris Day as Morris, who's kind of the not villain, but he's kind of
the foil.
He's like is the adversary.
Yeah,
in the movie.
Yeah.
There's Morris's right hand man, Jerome, played by Jerome Benton. I like the Jerome character.
I like Jerome. Yeah,
I like Jerome as well. We've got others. We've got there's Dez, plays Dez Dickerson.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, there's this club that has 3 musical acts. The kid has 1 act, Morris has 1, and then Dez has 1.
Right.
There's the Revolution plays the Revolution. Morris Day's band The Time plays The Time.
Exactly.
There's club owner Billy, played by Billy Sparks. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. Again, most of the cast is playing themselves or like an exaggerated version of themselves.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, they all did fine.
Yeah.
Like they're, for
fine enough.
Yeah, I've used this before. I'm sure you've heard it before, but like nobody rises above or drops below the mean talent level. Yeah. So it carries well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there wasn't a Laurence Olivier performance
right.
alongside Morris Day.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins as the dad, like
as father.
It's father.
As motorcycle.
Right, yeah, it's I did have and removed. I had Batman in here. Not for the Prince reference, but because of the way his motorcycle is like the Batmobile in this film.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It's
always in a back alley in the shadows.
Yeah. It's almost its own character in a way.
Yeah, I took it out because I'm like, that's another Prince reference, and
kind of how like in Little Miss Sunshine, the van is basically a character.
It's a character, and Knight Rider, the car, is a character.
Definitely a character.
All right. Well. Normally I use normally I'll use Wikipedia as kind of a plot,
a guide,
a guide. And Wikipedia's plot was more of a plot summary for this film. Mm-hmm. So I took very detailed notes to where at one point Jenny even said, "You just going to read those notes?" I said, "No, I'm not going to read the notes."
You pulled a Curtis. You took too many notes.
Yeah, I did take a lot of notes. So, but this is a movie that it's a little bit everywhere. Like there is a narrative structure to it, but it is very 80s and very disjointed.
Yes, very 80s.
It's a very disjointed, clunky segues and clunky cuts, and so for a first time viewer like myself, I won't say it was hard to follow, but as we grow with the characters and they all have their own little paths, sometimes it was like, oh, okay, we went from this plot thread and we just completely jumped 2 lanes over to this other one. So I'm glad I took my notes. You know, and like I was saying pre-show, that, you know, they don't do the best job of introducing the characters, but again, they all play themselves. So this is a movie that I think a first-time viewer in 1984 would have grabbed on a little quicker, because Prince was in the zeitgeist. Morris Day and the Time was a thing. Yeah. You know, to where it's like, these are referential pieces that are current. Yeah. To where it's like, you know, when we introduce, and I'll get to it here, movie kicks off with the kid playing in its entirety Let's Go Crazy. Yeah.
Great song. Arguably my favorite Prince song.
And I said, Jenny, my favorite is probably I Will Die For You. Mm-hmm. I really, really like that song. So the kid's playing in its entirety Let's Go Crazy on the stage at First Avenue, as we get a series of cuts, like, but at the same time, these cuts are opening title cuts. You know, it's you're getting cast, you're getting people applying eyeliner, just cuts.
Part of my normal morning routine is very similar to this, by the way.
Cuts, yeah. And you actually perform your morning routine in cuts. You'll do a little bit of eyeliner, stop to go do something else. Yeah, you have 48 things going on at a time.
It's a very meticulous morning routine.
It wakes you up though, keeps you alert. So.
It does.
As part of these cuts, we see Apollonia rolling up in a cab. She and the cab driver look at each other as she bolts from the cab, refuses to pay. Yeah.
She racked up quite the cab fare too.
Yeah, she did.
It was almost $40, which 40 years ago, like, she's been in the car for a while. Yeah. You're not wrong.
She goes to a seedy looking hotel to rent a room. But she's on a mission. She goes to First Avenue. She's looking for a job. Mm-hmm. She asks the waitress, can I talk to the manager? Can I talk to the owner? He's not available right now. Leave your information. So she writes down Apollonia, age 19. Apollonia is 19 years old in this movie, supposedly. 19. She was mid-20s, as was Prince in this movie. But 19. Okay. So the kid finishes Let's Go Crazy. Again, we don't know much about him other than he's on stage. We get the intro to Apollonia. Kid wraps up Morris Day and the Time, take the stage to play Jungle Love. And that's where we see the kid interact with Apollonia a little bit more. She catches his eye from the stage, and he's probably like, that's a beautiful 19-year-old.
Who looks like she's in her mid-20s.
Exactly. And acts like she's at least her mid-20s later on. Mm-hmm. And so the kid throws on his mirrored sunglasses.
He does.
And demonstrates very quickly that he does not know how to act socially around a person. He acts really weird as he's just standing behind her, she finally, because he caught her eye as well, because obviously they're the main characters of this movie. They need to be the love interest. But he's just acting really weird. She's talking about how much she likes, Morris Day's song. Mm-hmm. She turns to tell him she liked his too, but he'd vanished because he's
That's
a weirdo.
What he does. Also very similar to an early date between myself and Patreon subscriber Melissa L. Yeah, she saw me perform. It was at Saks Fifth Avenue though. It wasn't at First Avenue.
It wasn't at First. Yeah, it was at the Saks Fifth.
It was at the local Saks Fifth.
As you were getting kicked out, she caught the end of your performance.
Yeah, and then she stood behind me
Right, exactly. With mirrored sunglasses.
And I went to turn and she was just gone.
Actually, she's just over there by like purses, but
she was at the perfume counter.
Exactly. She didn't go that far.
No. Yeah, just about 10 feet.
Oh, so the kid heads home, and we get, and it's kind of a destitute looking home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we always know when he's going home because we always get like a still frame of the house.
Yeah.
It's always the same position, so it's the same shot of the house.
There should have been like text on the screen. Meanwhile,
as it like types in like, you know, like late 80s like action movie wise, you know, it just types in the location in like neon green.
There's GPS coordinates.
Exactly. Right. It's like where they always know where you're at in the Born Identity. Like, so we always know where Prince is in Minneapolis.
Love and Marriage is playing in the background.
Oh yeah. So anyway, the kid goes home after this performance and walks into probably something he sees all the time.
Yes, too often.
Dad yelling at mom, and then dad beats mom.
Yeah.
He tries to intervene. Prince is, and regardless, credit where credit is due. This is a son trying to intervene to keep his mom from getting beaten by his dad. But again, we're talking 5'2", 2% body fat Prince. And it adds to the meekness of the character where it's Dad, stop. And there's no fear behind, you know, there's nothing to be feared behind this. Dad's in total control here.
Yeah, there's no the kid presents no physical threat.
Exactly. And that's not because, I mean, we're larger, you know, taller men. That's not passing judgment. That's just, he does
it. Is.
Yeah, you know, it just is. So he also gets hit, kind of shoved backwards. And so this is really, at this point, this is the cycle of the kid's life.
Yeah.
He spends pretty much all day at First Avenue rehearsing, performing, going home to hell.
Yeah, and when you get the sense that, you know, he spends as much time away from home as he can, and he's put so much of his passion and identity in his music to avoid the other parts of his life.
Right, which sucks because he also doesn't want those other parts to happen, but he also, like you said, stands no physical threat to stop the violence.
Yeah, so there's a helplessness there.
Yeah, very much so. We're back the next morning at First Avenue as the same blonde waitress from before gives the kid a tape that a couple of the bandmates have put together. She had listened to it. She really liked it. And they had asked her to give it to him.
Interesting that they asked their friend to give their tape to their fellow band member.
Exactly. So he very quickly, he takes it, but pretty much dismisses it. He doesn't entertain it much. This is his band. This is his music. And that we see that grow as the movie goes on. That like, quit doing your stupid things. Like it's you're here for me.
Well, and there's definitely a control aspect to that.
Very much so.
Similar to how how it manifests with his dad.
Very, very much so. We see not the beginning because we've seen it, you know, all along a little bit, but Morris, like you mentioned, First Avenue has 3 performance slots. It's Dez's group, Morris's group, and the kids group. And that's it, just the 3.
That's it.
And there are times where the kid gets a little more attention from the audience than Morris does. To be fair, I think every time Morris performs, you just change the music, but it's the same performance.
Basically.
It's him and his crew dancing on stage the same way, whereas the kid tries things.
Yeah. Well, I will say it is a fun performance.
It is. Oh, I'm not denying it. It works.
By no means is he the musician, you know, that Prince and the kid is, but it's fun. I could see how people would really enjoy Morris Day.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially like when sometimes we get Let's Go Crazy, which is very crowd inducing. And then sometimes we get something much slower and performative. So Kid grabs Billy, or not Kid, Morris and Billy are talking. Morris is basically trying to talk Billy into kicking the kid out because I'm working on an all-female group that'll pack him in. Like, I got a replacement for you. So problem solved.
Yeah.
Get rid of him. We'll replace it with an all-female group that Billy's interested in anyway. Win-win. Like, kid's out. I don't have quote unquote competition from him, and I can benefit from my female group. You can benefit from the female group. We all win. And so cut to the kid and Apollonia on a motorcycle ride, which it's credit to Prince for and the film crew for filming all this in Minnesota. I think that is such a cool thing that Prince had done in his entire career. Was home base is Minneapolis.
Yeah, always paid homage to his roots.
Yeah, it's not moving to LA, it's not moving to New York. So when you see a movie like this and you see Prince, like, this is the enigma that is Prince driving through Minnesota fall.
Rural Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah, it's such a juxtaposition on views, because it's like, this is just this flamboyant dude on his purple motorcycle and his and it's like driving through what looks like rural Illinois. So he takes her on a ride. They stop at a waterfront where she basically is just like, can you help me out? Can you help? She wants to break into the business.
Yeah.
Can you help me out?
Yeah. Came all the way up from New Orleans.
Yeah. And he tells her, we get the Lake Minnetonka line.
I don't know what it is about that line. That's just funny.
Yeah. We get the infamous, what is it? Purify yourself in
the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah, she thinks that's where they're at. So it's cold because we just drove through and there's no leaves on trees. It's fall. I don't know if this is some sewage runoff or whatever, but she strips down her leathers. And having not seen this, I didn't know what to expect here. She takes off her leather pants and I was like, oh, we're going to see Apollonia. Like,
we saw her Apollonias.
Yes. And so she undoes her jacket and they're the Apollonias. And she, again, 19-year-old Apollonia, 19, supposedly.
Quote,
yeah,
unquote,
exactly. Yeah. Allegedly 19-year-old Apollonia. She then jumps on a log and jumps in the water. I mean, and she, of course, is freezing. She gets out and it's so bizarre. Like he, as we kind of expected, he's like, that's not Lake Minnetonka. Then he gets on his motorcycle and drives off.
Yeah.
He does whip back around to get her as she's cursing him.
Yeah.
Comes back around to get her. She's still soaked because, again, she jumped in this water. And he's like, don't get my seat wet. And she falls in love with him. Like, it's such a weird, like, transfer of emotion of, I'm toying with you. And she's like, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's definitely got a weird feel to it.
Yeah. Cut to Morris in some warehouse. He's hosting tryouts of women. Yeah. It's not working out the way he envisioned.
Yeah.
But he does remember Apollonia from the club. And so he kind of sets Jerome, we need to get Apollonia.
Yeah.
I really want Apollonia to join my girl group. Cut to First Avenue. The kid sings again, another song from the soundtrack. I didn't write down what it was. Kid sings again afterwards, takes Apollonia to his place because he's like, let's go to your place. She's like, we're not going to my place. And so he takes her to his place, so they can peep on his parents, through the window, as they're.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He refers to his parents as a freak show to her, so he's very dismissive and resentful of his parents too.
Yeah, and so she's intrigued, but takes her to his place, and then they sneak in through his window into what I described as his Buffalo Bill bedroom.
He's got a pit and everything.
Yeah, I'm going to apply some makeup and tuck here. Yeah, it was very Buffalo Bill-esque.
Put the lotion in the basket.
And they, I presume, based on his hand placement,
yeah,
they went places.
Yes, in my notes I put in his basement room they have off-camera sex.
Yeah. Again, assuming because there was a lot of on-camera groping.
Yes.
Like, I even at one point went, Prince, like you can act that out. You don't actually have to go touch those. Kid goes back.
It just ended right there.
Yeah, pretty much did.
I'm presuming that after that moment, those characters went, oh, well, look at the time.
Right.
I gotta get back to my hotel.
You want some pancakes? Like
that scene got left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah. It's the game blouses.
There was a griddle also down there.
He had a Blackstone down in the basement. No, to be fair, very large windows for his basement room.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Like, ahead of times, as egress windows are now, like, to have your home up to code. If you have a bedroom in the basement, you must have egress windows for safety's sake. 1984 Prince's home was ahead of the game.
Yes,
I have very easy to escape from windows in my basement.
Well, I'd like to think that Purple Rain was like one of the subplots was really just about, like, residential construction safety.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I could see Prince in a construction hat.
Mm-hmm. I could definitely see that.
So, cut back to the kid goes back to First Avenue and catches. Was it Wendy and Lisa? Is that their names?
Yeah, Wendy and Lisa.
Catches Wendy and Lisa practicing their song that was on that tape.
Yeah.
Which we can tell right now is the early versions of Purple Rain. Mm. Like it's that guitar riffs and
like a proto version.
Yeah, and so we know that's what that is. And he just tells them, like, give it up. We're not playing your stupid music. Like, it's very dismissive.
Yeah,
very dismissive. Morris stops by the hotel, Apollonia's room, gives her a tape, and he's like, I want to help you. And she's just like, the kid's going to help me. And Morris is like, he didn't help anybody. He's not looking out for you. Just come to the audition. Like, here's what we're going to do. Come to the audition. I'll help you out. The kid does, he's back home. He's got the tape. He puts it in the tape deck. This Wendy and Lisa's tape. Mm-hmm. And he at least listens to it, which is something that I really didn't think was coming. Mm-hmm. He listens to it as he listens to his father beat his mother upstairs, and then he just turns the volume up to try to drown it out. Like, it's home sucks for Prince, for the kid. Meanwhile, while he's listening to the tape at full volume and parents are upstairs beating themselves, Apollonia sneaks in because we see when she's talking to Morris, she takes off her necklace. She's like, "Are there any pawn shops around here?" Mm-hmm. Apollonia sneaks into his room in the basement with a very large guitar-shaped box, to which Prince goes, "What is it?"
It's a big tennis racket.
That's right. Yeah,
it's a pool skimmer.
It's a cover for your Blackstone.
It's a big spatula.
It's a pool skimmer for when you get a pool.
Yeah, for Lake Minnetonka.
It's a clock radio. So she gifts him the guitar that he had been looking at, which that necklace must have been very valuable.
Yes,
or the pawn shop guy was really hard up for jewelry.
Or he's just really bad at running a pawn shop.
And
they make necklaces in cross shapes? Wow.
This is amazing. And so she gifts him the guitar. It's a beautiful guitar.
Yeah.
And then tells him with glee, like, I'm joining Morris's group.
And she's happy to tell him.
And he just smacks her across the face, like wallops her.
Mm-hmm.
immediately regrets it, dives down, tries to make amends, but she's just like, I know I'm not dealing with this. And so that sucked. Like, what a way to thank her for the gift. She didn't even grab the guitar on her way out. She was like, and I'm taking this.
She did take a stack of flapjacks, though.
She did, yeah. I'll take these for the road.
She made herself a to-go box.
She'd take home a sack from like Steak and Shake.
Yep.
Cut back to First Avenue. Kid gets back, and like Brown Mark and Dr. was it Z? I'm just looking at some of the other character names.
Mm-hmm. The other members of the Revolution.
Yeah, the other members of the band. Yeah.
I
only remember seeing Brown Mark in the. I thought, what a crappy name to give yourself, Brown Mark. Like, I joked to Jenny, I'm like, sometimes Lucas has those in his underwear. Like, it was more of just an entrance to a joke. I'm not telling people that my kid craps his pants.
And hold for editing.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll probably cut that out if I remember.
He's 24, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. He's excited. But Wendy and Lisa aren't at rehearsal. Big bouncer walks in. Kid, boss wants to see you. Tell him I'm rehearsing. No, now.
Now.
Basically, Billy wants to see. It's like, you better pack this place tomorrow night or you're done.
Yeah.
Because, Morris has got an all-female group. Basically tells him about Apollonia 6.
Yeah.
And, your bandmates aren't even here. Step it up or you got to go.
Yeah. I got 3 spots and I got 4 bands.
Yeah. Yeah. So something's got to give. We cut to When Doves Cry.
Montage!
Yeah, we got playing an entire montage of what I say. When Doves Cry plays over montage of motorcycling, Apollonia practicing, memories, and spousal abuse. Like but we get like the song in its entirety.
Yeah.
Because and it works. Like it works.
We also get barn sex too.
That was the memories part. That's the part, because even Jenny and I are like, is he remembering things happening or did that happen? Like in this montage. Because that seemed like a pretty quick catch up with Apollonia. So that was a memory. We get a lot of like Prince standing along the lakefront.
Looking sad and forlorn. Yeah,
just looking. And so just
looking like Abner from last week.
Exactly.
From Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. I like to think Purple Rain is a spiritual sequel to Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
I believe so. Yeah, it's a lot of torture genius. And people just don't understand them.
They just don't get it.
No.
A lot of R&D went into the Revolution as well.
Yeah, like all that R&D money.
A lot of Android money.
So kid returns home, finds mom out front, clearly beaten again.
Yeah.
Dad's in the basement playing piano. And in one of those where like even Jenny and I, because we hear the piano playing, it just sounds like the score, like because it's melodramatic. And then he turns the corner and there's dad actually playing the piano. We're like, oh, he's playing that. We thought it was just background score music, but no, this is actually live in the film.
Yeah. Well, and you also get you get let in more info on the family history. Dad is a musician.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But after he got married, because he also told in this conversation, he tells his son, never get married.
Right. Yeah. I had here
for whatever reason, like that, he's just descended into this shell of himself.
Right. Kid tries to be playful and he's like, just, hey, I'd love, do you have that written down? I'd love to experiment, with some of your stuff. And dad just looks at him. He's like, unlike you, I don't have to write my music down. Just really just jab after jab of like, I'm not like you. And then he does. He asks, like, do you have a girlfriend? Yeah, I do. You gonna get married? I don't know. Don't get married. Like a lot of resentment.
Yeah.
A
lot of hurt.
Yes. Back to First Avenue for another performance. Computer Blue is
In my notes, I put cut to shirtless and greasy, the kid.
Very sweaty in his opening night performance.
He also had a lacy eye mask on too.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of Princeing out here. And
I like Prince as a verb.
He's Princing.
He's Princing.
Morris and Apollonia show up. Now she is set to debut later at a different club.
Yes.
The Taste. But Morris is like, we need to stop by First Avenue for exposure.
Mm-hmm.
So again, he's playing Computer Blue and catches Apollonia. And then the next song they play is Darling Nikki, which is a very racy song about a prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically sings that entire song looking at Apollonia. Those lyrics are hitting hard.
Yeah, they are.
And Apollonia starts crying, gets up, storms out. Like, and Prince is using the whole, not just the whole stage, like the whole building. Like, he's climbing. Like, now this is a part where Jenny and I, we kind of laughed. Is he clearly was planning on playing Darling Nikki, regardless of if Apollonia and Morris showed up. Because there's a line where, like, she left a note on the stairs where he's climbing stairs. He had placed the props for this song. Like, he was, like, the Revolution knew the song was coming. Like, they were ready for this song. It was just really bad timing for Apollonia to show up at this time. Like, it was clearly in the set list for the night. This is what we're playing. But it takes on that other feeling of, and then, Billy's like, that wasn't cool what you did. Like, he sang the song he was planning on singing. Like, he didn't throw an audible here. It was what he was planning on doing.
The kid did have the bouncer hold Apollonia at the door for half an hour.
Right. Holding her head, staring at us. But yeah, so that Apollonia races out. Everyone is kind of giving kid the side eye for that dirty double cross. Like, again, it was on the list. If they didn't show up, he's still singing the song and nobody's upset with him for it, except Tipper Gore.
Except Tipper Gore.
Yeah, because I had read that when for those that don't know, Tipper Gore caught her 11-year-old daughter listening to Darling Nikki and listened to the lyrics. And that was like the instigator for the big, like, parental advisory push from the government was because they didn't preview the music that they let their kid listen to.
Yeah.
That's Prince's fault that we didn't let her. Yep. Yeah. We didn't listen to our kids' music before they did.
Well, someone please think of the children.
Right. Yeah. Like, okay. So shows how far we've come since 1984.
Yeah. We've come a long way, folks.
Yeah.
By the way, we're in July of 2025 at the time of this recording.
Yeah. So 41 years later. And, Yep. So Billy's ripping the kid. You got fewer seats in the audience. How dare you bring your personal baggage on stage? And again, he was planning on singing the song anyway. Like, that's the part that it's odd to me that the characters in the movie, like, they didn't pick up on it. Like, no one did.
No.
Like, they segued into that song. It's not like everybody in the band was like, get him, kid. Like, no. Like, they all were prepping this song. Anyway, but then Billy basically compares him to his dad.
Yeah, that's a low blow.
Yeah.
Calls him selfish. You're just like your dad.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, and to be fair, the kid just looks at him. He's like, don't go there. He doesn't yell at him. He's just, because kid goes back because he's mad about Apollonia and he's kind of throwing stuff around his dressing room. And that's when Billy stops in and was like, hey, not cool.
Well, he even tells him too, he says, your music makes sense to no one but yourself.
Right.
So, like, there's a lot to this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, there really is. A lot to be said when not much is really said. Like, it's not like this big long monologue from Billy or whatever. So Apollonia 6 debuts at the Taste. And when I say debut, I mean both vocally and physically, as the Apollonia 6, which is really just 3 members,
they're twice this good though.
Well, and I don't think they're talking about how many heads are in the band. I think they're talking about how many Apollonias are in the band.
Three times. Okay, I see what you did. 3 times 2.
The Apollonias. Yeah, because they are very scantily clad.
Yes.
From the jump, like, crowd is full of nasty men, plus 2 women that look like they should be at church right now. Like, even Jenny's like, should be at church. We see the kid watching from the shadows at the back, and Billy basically says, "You got tomorrow night, or you're out."
Yeah,
because Apollonia 6 sang one song at the Taste, and look at this. Look at this response. Well, again, they're looking at the Apollonia 6.
Yeah, they're not
there for the music. Yeah. After that performance, Morris is drunk, and he takes Apollonia to the car. Apollonia at 19 is still very naive about what's going on.
Yes.
Because she's even like, "Where's Jerome?" Because Jerome drives Morris everywhere. "Where's Jerome?" "I gave him the night off."
He's got the night off.
"It's okay. It's just me and you." As we hear the kid's motorcycle fire up in the fog of the alley, and it's so Batman-esque.
It's another wet, dank alley, steamy alley.
Oh scene. It's the only type of alley, like
moist and steamy.
Exactly. And the kid comes flying by Morris on his motorcycle, like basically runs into him, knocks him over into a bunch of cardboard boxes, because that's an alley.
There's just empty cardboard boxes everywhere.
Pulls a quick Yui, demands Apollonia get on the bike now. And she does, and away they go. They go to the next makeout spot under the tracks. And she still has Morris's flask, because he'd been kind of giving her nips of it, hoping to get her drunk so that Morris can do Morris things. So she still has that. She takes a drink, and the kid's just like, "Don't do that," and then shoves her to the ground. Like, just knock the flask out of her hand. Ask nicely for a drink and keep it. But shoves her to the ground and almost hits her. Like, raises his backhand a couple of times, doesn't hit her. He had given her a hoop earring earlier in the movie. She takes it out, drops it on the ground, and just walks off. Like,
it's like a basketball hoop.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Big hoop.
Yeah, it was a big one. It's Rawlings earring brand.
Rawlings brand earring.
Right. So the kid returns home. Again, apparently Apollonia just walked home from the tracks. It's Minneapolis. It can't be that big. Kid goes home. The door's open. House is a disaster.
Yeah.
Mom's in the basement. Or no, mom's gone. Mom's just gone. Dad's in the basement again, like the piano scene. We see him we see a silhouette in the shadows, and then we cut to a handgun. As the kid flips on the basement light from the top of the stairs, we hear a gunshot, and cut to, Dad failed at the suicide attempt. He did shoot himself, but it didn't end it. Mom is again just covering him up, like as an abused wife often does.
Cycles of violence.
And so and it's all happening right there in the basement. Authorities are talking to the kid. We get a lot of background music, as there's a lot of silent interrogation and questioning. Then as they do, they all just leave him, like in silent, or like in a Black Christmas, like, "You've gone through a moment of trauma, but we got other things to do. So we're just going to leave you here by yourself." Right here at the scene, you can see the chalk outline where your dad shot himself in the head. But we're just going to leave you with all this, kid, because you're fine. He's very clearly unwell. Yeah. He starts having very quick flashbacks. He's looking at the chalk outline of his dad. He's looking at a rope outline, rope, and then cut a very quick glimpse of him hanging. Yeah. Which he doesn't, but it's just, that's what was
really dark moment.
Very, very dark. That's what was going through his head. And he just starts trashing the basement. Apparently years of canning that his mom had done in preparation for whatever.
There was a lot of cans down there.
a lot of salsa. Yeah, just like he takes and just like lots and lots of mason jars full of. So mom's probably ticked when she gets home.
Yeah.
Like those are my pickled beets. Like, and finds his dad's music.
Yeah.
Which of course dad said, I don't write my stuff down. So dad's a liar above other things. It's a dirty, dirty liar. But no, so kid finds his dad's music and it just kind of grounds him.
Yeah. It's what snaps him out. Cause it's very much, you know, like a PTSD fueled panic attack he has.
Yeah. Yeah. Cut to First Avenue. Morris and the Time are performing. I don't remember the song, but it sounded a lot like Jungle Love.
It was the bird.
That's right. Yeah. And so afterwards, like the kid and the Revolution are in their dressing room waiting to go on next. Morris and the Time walk by. Morris stops back in, and how's the family?
Cold, stone cold.
I got the vibe after he drops that line and they walk away, and then everybody walks away, and Morris still hangs. I got the vibe Morris like instantly regretted that line. Because he stops at the end of that hallway. Everybody else keeps going, and it's just Morris by himself, and he kind of drops against the wall and has this kind of looks back towards the kid's dressing room, almost in regret of like, I shouldn't have gone there. You know, like I did it. I was with my guys. I had to show dominance.
By his buddies. Yep.
I had to show how cool I am. And then
had to thump my chest.
We never see that come back, but I did. I got that sense that he was like, yeah, that was not cool.
Just a shred of humanity from Morris.
Yeah. Granted that we saw, no one else, but yeah. Kid takes the stage. Next song I'm going to dedicate to my dad. And Lisa and Wendy, you know, wrote this song.
Yeah. Also got Apollonia's white guitar too.
Yeah. He's got her guitar. He's in his Prince getup, the purple crushed velvet and the big billowy pirate clothing. And I got the vibe that based on how Lisa and Wendy reacted, I got the sense that nobody really knew what they were going to play. Because at first I thought maybe they were just shocked that he gave them credit, but I got the sense that that they really didn't even know what was coming. So he gets shout out, and then Purple Rain, drops Purple Rain. The entire song, you know, at this point, before this, it was right before the bird. Jenny's like, how much time's left? I click, it's like a half hour. And I said, well, if he sings Purple Rain, there's 10 minutes of it. There's a half hour movie left, but probably not a lot of plot. And so he sings Purple Rain, and it just, of course, it's not what the crowd's used to because it's not danceable. You know, but they all get into it, and just the song's
super earnest song that just
very much
grips the crowd.
And song's over, and he storms off because again, he's just an emotional wreck right now. But First Avenue's still giving him a standing ovation. Yeah, like he's on his way to the motorcycle. He just wants to get out of there, and the crowd is just still raving, and he turns around, and the blonde waitress that's kind of been in and out the whole movie, she's in tears as she's holding the door for him. Basically, get back out there.
Yeah.
He's coming down the hallway. Apollonia's waiting for him at the end. They have a moment, and then he heads back to the stage and he goes right into I Would Die For You.
Yep.
We get as another movie ending montage. Parents in the hospital, he's in the basement sorting his dad's music. Yeah. He's, with Apollonia, and we get kind of this redemption arc, and that's Purple Rain.
Yeah. Yeah. Solid movie. Again, not a great movie.
No, but it is. It's,
It tells a simple story. You do engage with the characters, especially the kid and the journey he's on.
Yeah, well, and like the 8 Mile reference we had, keeping it fairly, semi-autobiographical helps because it's, you're not catching Prince being somebody other than Prince. He's you just change his name, but he's still doing his thing. So,
Sure.
Which really only works because I don't want to see Prince act like someone else.
No. Oh God, no.
You know, just like it was really hard. Like, granted, it was a small little blip, but like Michael Jackson's little cameo in Men in Black, which is weird.
Yeah.
You know, like, no, you're larger than this. You're Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
You should only be Michael Jackson.
Yeah, the persona is so globally identified that you can't be anyone other than yourself.
And that's where it is with Prince as well. Like, he's Prince. Like, it's one of those like adult moments of like when you're a little kid and you see your teacher at the grocery store and you just blows your mind because teachers don't go here. Teachers are at school.
They live at the school.
But it's like, yeah, this is a human being, you know, but just their ambiance is so much larger than anything that to think that, yeah, Prince has probably pumped his own gas. Prince goes to the grocery store. You know, it's like, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Prince only performs and he's at home. That's all he does.
Yeah. It's like watching Madonna try to act like a softball player. I mean, who does that?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Or, so it's like, I remember, you know, when Prince died because his airplane had to land in Moline in the Quad Cities.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He was on his way back to Minneapolis and he had an incident on the plane and they landed in the Quad Cities. And so they're, you know, in Moline, I mean, like my grandma's had surgery in Moline, you know, like, so it just for the medical crew, like I tried to put myself in their position when this news broke that it's like, yeah, you're used to dealing with people in the ER all the time. What do you do when Prince comes rolling in on a gurney?
Prince, yeah.
You know, like, and it's what do you do? Especially when like his name is Prince. It's not like he has some pseudonym that he can go under to kind of try to stay incognito. His name is Prince. Everybody knows his name. And so you rush into the ER, you got the triage nurse or whatever. And at some point, someone's got to go like, that's Prince. Like,
yeah.
And it's just, now you're nervous. You have to be.
Prince is coding in our ER.
Yeah. And they got him, you know, he was, you know, they brought him back from whatever. And he left the hotel, he left the hospital against doctor's orders. Because he had pretty strong opiate addiction, and they gave him the anti stuff and were like, you need to lay low. And he's like, I gotta go. So back on the plane. It wasn't long after that they found him in his elevator at home. Yes, he'd been dead for at least 6 hours, but he is case of thought he was taking medicine. It was laced with fentanyl, accidental fentanyl overdose, because he was what he was addicted to. Someone, you know, it had been laced and he didn't know it. And there he went. It sucks, but that's what it is.
The legend. So, yep.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, folks, hey, every week Oz and I give our own unique rating to the film we've been yapping about. In this case, Purple Rain. Hey, Oz, how would you rate this flick?
7 purple motorcycles.
7 purple motorcycles.
Like, what else would you give it?
Well, I will answer that question.
Yeah, what else would you give it?
Nice way to tee me up there. I will give it 71 pancakes.
Oh, that's fitting. Hope I can find a picture of that.
There better be 71 in there.
I'll struggle with the 71 part for sure.
Do some creative photo editing.
Yeah, I might have to.
Hey, folks, let's see. Our next bits every week, Oz and I scour the interweb searching for unprofessional reviews that tickle our funny bones, and we hope they tickle yours as well in this week's edition of Outside Insight. Hey, Oz, my friend, what is your Outside Insight?
I've got 2. I'm going to read them both. The first one comes from Joe.
Okay.
4.5 stars on January 28th of 2013.
All right.
Pretty unbeatable argument for my pet theory that the best elements of a film can elevate the rest. Okay. There are some unbelievably silly, ridiculous elements here, but most of it is transmuted into gold brilliance through the sheer power of Prince's music and the fantastic accompanying performance footage. The best example I can think of is the dumb montage of Prince standing by a lake being sad. It's stupid, but instead of being supplemented by a sappy ballad or library music, it's When Doves Cry. Like, you get that when you're it's like it, you know what, you're absolutely right.
It transcends the bad.
It's a pretty silly visuals, but it's When Doves Cry, and you're like, oh, that's great. My second one is a shorter one by Zara, actually. Alien emoji, Zara, alien emoji. Left a 3.5 star review.
Real regular human Zara.
Exactly. 3.5 star. I really loved when Prince just randomly had a little monkey puppet. That really delighted me. 5 stars for the monkey puppet. Yep. I forgot about the monkey puppet until I read that. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, and he probably, I wouldn't be shocked if he just had that. Like, I don't know Prince, but just that's the vibe you get. I operate on a whole different plane than everyone else does.
Yes. And this puppet's making the final cut.
Yeah, it's going to be in there because I'm Prince. So I did I saw that he didn't have any credited writing credits on this film. Like, that it's like it was written and directed by someone else, that it's like, I'm sure he had say in things.
I'm sure he had influence. Yeah. Because I mean, this whole project started because he wanted to be in a movie.
Yeah, I saw that too. But it's like for somebody else to lead the charge. I'm curious. I didn't look into the credits of that director. I wouldn't be shocked if that person has music video credit.
I did take a glance. He also directed, let me bring it up here, directed several Prince music videos.
Yeah, I bet he had music video credit somewhere in his filmography, if you will.
Did the music video for Sign of the Times, Bat Dance, several other songs. Also directed season 2, episode 23 of Nash Bridges.
Okay. Must have been the musical episode. Because every good show has a musical episode.
Yes, especially Nash Bridges.
That's my outside insight. What do you got?
I also have 2, as always, from the Internet Movie Database. My first, one of the 2 is also very short, like yours. I'm going to start with the very short one.
Okay.
So this is a 10 out of 10 left in December of 2020, mid-pandemic, by Bevo. The subject line is tops.
Okay.
2 sentences. The best of the Rain trilogy, the others being Hard Rain and Black Rain.
Okay. I'm there.
Yep. They're also a 10 out of 10 left in November of 2014 by I'm High Value, with the subject line, bad, but oh so incredibly good. This movie is a delicious quandary. I'm rating it 10 because that's how much I love it. Now, were I to rate it the overall quality, a 6? Would I say it's a good movie? Not good per se. Would I say it's a freaking epic, legendary 80s tacular movie? Baby, you know it. And then some.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Nice.
A 6, but it's a 10. But it's a 6, but it's a 10.
Right. Could call it an 8.
All right, folks, it's that point in the show you've all been waiting for, the Let's Talk About Flicks signature segment, the 3-2-1, in which Oz and I each share 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 about this week's movie, 1984's Purple Rain. Oz, my friend, what are your 3 goods?
My first good is the music.
Yes.
Duh. Like,
yes.
My second is Apollonia putting her leather clothing back on after being wet from the sewage runoff. That I credit to Jenny, as when she goes back up to the motorcycle, Jenny goes, "It's impressive she got those leather clothes back on being wet."
Yeah.
So props to Apollonia for that. And my third is the really goofy, cheesy freeze frame right at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Before the end credits run over a purple backdrop, I should say.
Yeah.
But the freeze frame was I found that just delightful.
Yes.
Those are my 3 goods. What do you got?
Speaking of that, really quick, last night I caught the end of Beverly Hills Cop on Pluto.
Also from 1984.
And that movie also ended with a goofy freeze frame as well.
Yes. Was that the this freeze frame? Was he doing that?
I don't remember. I don't remember if there was a hand gesture, but like it's it's after the big climactic fight scene, and
yeah,
Judge Reinhold and the other guy's character are escorting Eddie Murphy out of Beverly Hills,
right?
And they're following him in a car, and he says, "Yeah, let's go get a drink first." And he just kind of like smiles at him with like really wide eyes.
Yeah. I before we get in after the movie was over, because I watched it on my Plex server, and I pulled up. I just sorted movies, and I just looked at 1984 movies. Okay, these are the movies that came out in 1984 that are on my Plex server, just for reference. I'm not going to name them all. Beverly Hills Cop.
Okay.
Body Double. Children of the Corn. Conan the Destroyer. Firestarter. Footloose. Ghostbusters. Gremlins. Temple of Doom. Karate Kid. Neverending Story. Nightmare on Elm Street. Police Academy. Purple Rain. Revenge of the Nerds. Terminator. Spinal Tap. Like,
good year for movies.
Incredible year for movies. And again, that's just what and I didn't read them all. I have 34 movies from 84 on my Plex server. But like Starman was on that list.
Yeah.
What's the name of it? It doesn't matter. Dreamscape with Dennis Quaid. Like, it's a heck of a year for movies.
Yeah.
Toxic Avenger was on the list.
Oh, yes, 84. Toxie, that's right.
Yeah, and so it's like, that's not. I mean, this movie made $70 million, but it's like that's an insane run of film there.
Speaking of Spinal Tap, later today, in celebration of our 17th anniversary, Patreon subscriber Melissa L and I are going to go see Spinal Tap. They've released it for a couple of days. Yep, nice. So we'll be heading over to the movie theater in Crystal Lake to catch this Spinal Tap, the 41st anniversary.
Nice. Very good for you.
Yes, really excited about that.
Romancing the Stone, Splash, Star Trek 3. Yeah.
Big year for movies.
Big year.
Yeah. All right, we'll get into my goods. The first of my goods, I love it. There's a little sequence early in the film when Morris Day and the Time are performing Jungle Fever, where
Jungle Love,
and they come out and Jerome comes out dancing on the stage as well and holding a mirror just for Morris Day mid performance to check himself out in the mirror. Yes.
Yeah, I enjoyed that as well.
Yes, so that's my first good is Morris Day mid performance checking himself out in a mirror. The second is I'll go deeper with my second. We were talking pre-show about the influence this movie had, and I'm not going to pretend like this. Like, I got a lot of my kind of thoughts on this were collected by some of the things I read. Wikipedia had a really brief summary in their critical response section. So I'm just going to kind of read some things that were in there. How this movie was originally, there was a lot of criticism for the misogyny in the movie. Like the female characters do not get treated well in this movie. And objectively, that is a true statement.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But this movie, it does, I think, give an honest portrayal of how, like, the cycles of violence. Violence begets violence. Trauma begets trauma. Misogyny begets misogyny. Hurt people hurt people. That kind of cliched phrase. The codependency of his parents, and just how trauma just kind of circles in all this. And so, in the Wikipedia summary, they referenced an article from Elwyn Cotman from a couple of years ago, and how although this movie is on the surface very misogynistic, how the depiction of that misogyny actually paved the way for a lot of Spike Lee films. And so here's a quote from that I'm going to read for everybody. Purple Rain is a story about misogynists and about misogyny itself. Hatred of women undergirds the film's motif, wherein black men treat white women like trash, sometimes literally. There was the scene earlier in the film where Jerome picks up a woman who was confronting Morris and literally throws her in the garbage can. So back to the quote here. There is deep-seated racial resentment to all the beatings, pranks, gaslighting, and insults. And unlike most Hollywood films where actors kind of portray misogyny as heroic, Purple Rain shows it as a sign of weakness, disintegration rooted in trauma. The kid's treatment of women is a denial of his feminine side, and such in-depth psychology for Black male characters was uncommon at the time. So that I'm just reading that, it helped me kind of reframe this movie and all the
which is fair.
Yeah. And so although it is a pretty simple plot, you really do see, how impacted the kid is by, what he's been living with for over 20 years at home, and how that's shaped his worldview, and his treatment of women. So I'm not going to say it's a, it perfectly does all those things, but I think there's truth to it.
Oh yeah, through time and more viewings to get more eyes on it and more thoughtful minds, kind of dissecting it. It's absolutely it's there.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the regret, from the kid after he
dad,
physically. Yeah, I mean, the dad drove himself to a suicide attempt.
Yeah. There was one interaction, where after dad had beaten mom, that she had said, "You never let me have any fun."
Yeah.
And he said to her, he goes, "I can take care of you if you just believed in me." And he's like, just believe in me. And it's like, but you can't beat somebody into believing in you.
Yeah.
And it's just missing the mark all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, we saw how, the kid was so dismissive of Wendy and Lisa.
Yeah.
And it wasn't physical, but he was dismissive of their art.
And then that arc comes full circle at the end when he does give them credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
And that was his best performance of the show. Like it really, really took off from there.
Yeah. So that's my second good.
Yeah.
And my third good is quite simply, and we mentioned it before, I don't know what it is about this quote that it's just endlessly quotable. Purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time Patreon subscriber Melissa L says, I'm gonna go clean up, or I'm gonna go take a shower, my response is, purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
We unfortunately we can't deliver it like Prince does, but
or Dave Chappelle
as Prince.
Yeah.
No Charlie Murphy though. Like that's not one of my bads, but it's a pre-bad.
Yeah. All right. So hey, Oz, what are your two bads?
Over the course of the film, Morris Day got pretty annoying.
Yes, that was going to be one of my bads.
Yeah. It's I don't know. He just got really annoying.
Well, again, most of the performers in this movie are not trained actors.
Exactly.
That's pretty obvious. Morris Day, especially. I guess he was high for most of the shoot.
Oh.
And he and Prince had a very combative relationship, and I could see Morris Day being resentful of how successful and talented Prince is. It even comes across in the characters.
Yeah, I could see a lot of people in Prince's orbit being that. It's like, and you can't put a lid on it. It was just natural talent. I mean, the dude was amazing at what he did.
Well, and he knew it too.
Yeah, and he knew it. Yeah,
and that borderline, that tipping point between confidence and arrogance. I can see Prince sitting right there in that line.
Yeah, easily. But yeah. So that's my first bad. Is just Morris Day as the film went on. I think if he stopped forcing himself to laugh, it wouldn't have been as obnoxious. But that laugh was funny the first few times, and then it was like, oh, okay, all right. Mm-hmm. And my second, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, just the narrative structure of the film is pretty wonky. Sure. We knew where we were when we were there, but to understand the reasonings between cutting from this to that without any bridge between, it's like we get, okay, the kid in Apollonia under the train, where she goes to take a drink, he shoves her to the ground, and then he goes home. It's like that's fine, but there's others where there's an incident where dad's beating mom, he's breaking it up, cut to him on stage at First Avenue.
Yeah.
And it's just like, there's some dots that need connected in between. And so just the narrative structure got a little crazy at times, but
sure,
not hard to follow, but just sometimes hard to rationale why you went from A to B.
Earlier, and I didn't verbalize this earlier while we were kind of starting the show, but
I saw you pantomiming it. I couldn't make out what you were doing, but I'm glad you're going to verbalize it now.
I was acting it out.
Charades is hard, but I got you.
I had Princess Little Monkey Puppet that I was. I thought of another movie that would have been good in a movie marriage, and it's because both musically and narratively, there's a lot of similarities, and that's Flashdance.
We
did a couple of months ago.
I thought you were going to say Iron Eagle 2.
Iron Eagle 2. I mean, anything Lou Gossett Jr. There's a lot of parallels between him and Apollonia.
Right, and Prince, yeah. Lou Gossett Jr.'s personal life was a lot like Prince's professional life.
Very, a lot of parallels.
Yeah.
A lot of parallels. But yeah, I thought, Flashdance has kind of a similar feel, very loose narrative over just plot as well as just the storytelling of it.
Yeah. I get it,
And how they weave music in and performance.
And taking someone who is obviously way older than their character says they are. Yeah, like Jennifer Beals is 18. Sure
she is.
She's more believable at 18 than Apollonia was at 19 in this film.
Yeah, agreed.
But either one, no, you're not.
So
what are your bads?
Yeah, so wonky narrative structure. Your second, I see that completely. My first bad, and this is, I mean, kind of came out of the good from earlier. Just the kid being so dismissive of Wendy and Lisa.
Yeah.
Even out of the context that we were talking about it before, with the misogyny. Just, if you're trying to lead a band, this and trying to get 5-6 people to be a cohesive unit, you've got to include people.
Yeah.
You've got to empower people, and I don't blame Wendy and Lisa for being resentful, and almost quitting.
And the other guys were also like, they didn't say a whole lot, but they weren't exactly pro the kid on those decisions.
Yeah,
they understood where the ladies are coming from.
Yeah, and where this was going if he didn't change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my my first bad. My second bad, I was going to use Morris Day. But I'll go with when this was presented to the studio, and this is just, trivia I was reading and things like that. When this was presented to the studio wanted John Travolta to play the kid.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Lord. I'm a Travolta fan, but no.
No. I mean, this is a black film. It's
absolutely.
It's set in that atmosphere. It's set in that part of just literally in that part of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
The music. It's insulting.
You'd have to change everything.
Yeah.
Because
it would be a completely different film. It's insulting to suggest a white actor for this movie.
You'd have to change the location, because everything is so reality based. First Avenue is a legit place in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Like, these are legit bands and legit band members, and
rooted in black culture and black music. And
it's like, well, let's whitewash it. Then even if you tried to tell the same story, you can't do it in Minneapolis. You can't do it at First Avenue. Like, you just can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. It's, just gross. Just so gross.
But he's but he's so hot right now. Like, yeah.
That's my second bad.
Fair.
The notion of John Travolta being suggested to play the lead in this movie.
No. Oh.
Yeah. Gross. Ew.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Az, what's your huh?
Are we really supposed to believe Apollonia is 19 years old? Out of all my 3, 2, 1s, that was my first one I filled in, and I filled it in as soon as she tacked that index card up on the wall, said Apollonia, age 19. My first thought was, no. There's no way I'm buying that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you and I working at high schools, like, you're telling me she's 1 year out of high school? No. Like, no. she might be your third year new English teacher, but she's not 1 year out of high school. I don't care how worldly she is. No. And I didn't even like the fact that they like aged her. Like, I don't even understand the logic of let's make her 19. Because what you did with the character physically, between stripping down at the lake and some of the things with Prince in the bedroom, like, and Prince and Apollonia are the same age. Like, I looked them up. They're less than a year apart. So is the kid 26 and Apollonia 19? Or are we to believe the kid's also 19? I mean, he lives at home. Like, there's some structure to say he's not as old as.
Yeah, they didn't have to even
give
an age.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say the age doesn't matter, but when you tack an age on there, it sticks, and you're like, oh, I don't want to know what this 19-year-old girl has done to get from New Orleans to Minneapolis.
Yeah,
because she quickly, like, first date with Prince was like stripping it down to jump in the lake, or what she thought was the lake. Like, so yeah, that's my like, I'm not buying Apollonia as a 19-year-old. I'd be curious, just for comparison's sake, and I'm not going to look because I don't care that much, but like, what did Apollonia look like at 19? Like, what's been the physical growth between the two ages? Because that's not 19 at all.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. So what's your
My I've got a couple that I'm trying to decide. So I'm just going to quickly mention a couple, and then we'll use the last one as the official
Fair.
My so let's go with why didn't Prince, I want, why not more Prince ventriloquism?
Yeah. I was impressed by that. Yeah. I don't think it was real, but I was impressed.
I don't think so either. But yeah, no one's that good. Although it is Prince, so I guess.
Yeah.
I also had down as a possibility, how is Prince so androgynously sexy, as well as that, like, both that feminine and masculine at the same time? Like, he's all of those things, and he's like the best of all. He's 5'2", 120 pounds.
He's a baby. Like he is a tiny human being. But I agree. Like, there was that run in probably that 80s era into some of the 90s where, like, being what you would say like a stereotypical man size was a disadvantage. You look at women and they're just losing their mind over Prince. And as a person who was built like Prince in 4th grade, I was probably earlier than that, actually. You just look at him and it's like, I'm not going to deny the sexuality, but I am going to contest almost, it's like, explain it to me. Like, what is it about, like, that physical stature that is like, oh, that's a man? And I'm like, oh, you're right. I mean, technically he's the man. But I'm with you. It's like, what is it to,
confidence plays a huge part in that.
Oh, it's got to. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's like you said, that fine line of, there's a lot of guys that have a lot of confidence, but they come off as arrogant, and it's a turnoff.
Yeah.
With Prince, is less is more of like, I wear makeup better than you wear makeup. And the woman's like, and you're damn sexy for it.
Yeah.
Like,
wait, he's sexy to everybody.
Exactly.
I think he's a sexy guy.
Oh, like, yeah. Man. Yeah.
But he's 5'2" and 115 pounds.
There was a part of this it was the end when he had taken off the purple jacket after Purple Rain and was coming out for I Will Die For You. And what he's wearing is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, objectively, yes.
To see it like hanging on a rack is ridiculous. This billowy, like, fluffy, whatever, and then the leather pants with the button fly at a curve. Like, even Jenny says, she goes, I just want to straighten out, like, his because the buttons don't line up. She goes, it's like a toddler with his pants on crooked. I want to straighten it out. But you watch him up there and you're like, it's just pure sex. Like, but without being sexy. Like, because he's not like licking the microphone or anything. Yeah. He's just there. And you're just like, wow. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
And so my actual
Yeah.
would be kind of going back to the kid in Apollonia in the kid's room in the basement.
Yeah.
As they were about to have off camera, or what is presumed to be off camera sex.
Play patty cake.
Yeah.
Play patty cake.
They're playing patty cake.
Which, which honestly for Prince is probably something he would do. Like the woman would expect physical intercourse, and he's just like, let's just sit and talk. Let's hold hands. Let's clap.
That was cut from the Chappelle Show sketch.
Yeah.
Let's play patty cake.
Let's play patty cake. So anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep going.
There was a lot of candles in there.
A lot.
So like if you're trying to, okay, so my is if you're trying to woo a woman or just anyone, if you're trying to woo a partner, does it lessen the mood if you take the time to go, hang on, I got to go light 40 candles.
Right. I said the same thing. I told you that Jenny and I watched a movie after Purple Rain. And in this movie, there was a scene where there was a college guy and a college girl that were just starting to flirt with each other, that were in a house for a prank purpose, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, cut to them downstairs setting a scene. Quick cut to them being in bed together. Mm-hmm. But now they're surrounded by 45 lit candles. And I said that same thing to Jenny. I go, did they light the candles in as part of the prank and then that heightened the mood because all these candles are lit? Or, like you said, did they stop the making out to then light 45 candles to finish to seal the deal? Like, I'm with you. Yeah, like
just stay in that position.
Yeah. Hold on. Walks around with one of the keeps burning his thumbnail.
It's all individual matches too.
Exactly. He's just got a cup of water. He keeps dropping them in. Yeah, I'm with you though. A lot of candle. Honestly, I think Prince probably just leaves them lit.
I could, yeah.
At all times.
He has a candle guy.
They're all LED. He's just flickering lights.
Yeah. So that's my
That's fair. Mm-hmm. It's a good
Yeah. And that's our loyal listeners and viewers is Purple Rain.
What do we got next week?
Oh, what do we have next week? I was so into this conversation, I forgot to go back and check.
It's yours.
It is mine, and so yes, I'm going back. A movie that I have never seen.
Same.
We're still in the 80s, and we kind of toyed with this a little bit earlier with some Madonna references. We are going to have a Madonna movie, but not A League of Their Own and not Dick Tracy, the two that have come up in conversation.
Or Evita.
Yeah, or Evita. Or what was that one that she did? Like it was like a beach movie or something.
Oh, I don't remember, but it's not Evita.
It was a box office bomb. And it was with her like then husband directed it.
Swept Away.
There we go.
Directed by Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
3.6 on IMDb with 18,000 reviews.
Oof. We do need to have like a box office bomb.
Oh yeah.
Month. Yeah. So the movie we are going to talk about next week is going back to, I believe it's 86. This is off the top of my head.
It is.
With Desperately Seeking Susan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, yep, from 84 to 86.
Yeah, another like real trend-setting film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is Madonna's film debut. Rosanna Arquette's in this film. Mm-hmm. Really nailed the like mid 80s on Madonna look.
Yeah.
So that's Swept Away also features Bruce Greenwood, Elizabeth Banks, and Jean Triplehorn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Paycheck for them.
Michael Beatty, David Thornton. But yeah.
Okay.
A snooty socialite is stranded on a Mediterranean island with a communist sailor.
It has to be communist.
It's a communist sailor. Yeah. Now, is he communist politically or just in his sailing world? Like, everything on this boat is ours.
As opposed to a capitalist sailor.
Yeah, like, I think, in that regard, like, a communist sailor wouldn't be that terrible. Like, we all share. It's all ours. Like, that's good because we're all in this together.
Capitalist sailor, what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. This is mine. I earned it.
Did you bring this? No? Well, you can't have it then.
Nope. No government handouts for me on this boat.
Can I see your tax return? I think I'm worth more than you are. Yeah.
So yes, Desperately Seeking Susan is what we got next week.
Again, not seen it. I believe Into the Groove, which might be my favorite Madonna song.
That undoubtedly is my favorite Madonna song.
Yeah.
Into the Groove.
Yeah, I'm okay with Madonna's music by and large.
I am too.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of her newer stuff holds up, but I think she's still grabbing at straws a little bit. But when she was like the 80s, like
mid to late 80s, Madonna is pop music at its finest.
Well, and just the 80s as a decade, as what the nation was aiming towards, like there's a reason why so many artists over the last 20 years keep getting lynched to like, oh, is she the next Madonna? Is she? That time is gone. Like there is no next Jordan. There is no next Madonna. There is no next Michael Jackson. Like we lived through it. That was lightning in a bottle. Like, and it's just the way consumption has changed. Like the music video era played a huge part in the success of those beings, and those just gone, and nobody buys albums anymore. It's all streaming. Like it's just that it's different. I mean, we've got Taylor Swift now, but that's not Madonna. Like,
well, and she doesn't have to be.
She doesn't have to be. No,
Taylor Swift. You don't.
And I'm perfectly. That's what I hope more people strive to be, is the first of them and not the next of someone else.
Yeah. I don't have to be the next Sixpence None the Richer.
Right, exactly. We've already had one Lisa Loeb. Why do we need another?
Lord knows we don't need multiple Jamiroquais.
Right, and I don't know if there's enough room in people's ears for another Donna Lewis.
Donna Lewis.
I like Jamiroquai, though.
Yeah. The world can only handle one technotronic.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah, that really is true.
That one is true.
That's more for public safety than anything else.
That's right. To preserve humankind as we know it.
Yeah.
Only one technotronic.
Only one technotronic.
and we've already had her.
It's pump up the jam, not pump up the jams.
Right. And if you want to pump anything up, volume's already been pumped. So jams and volumes are taken care of. Pump up something else. And kicks.
Anything.
Kicks have already been pumped up as well. Desperately Seeking Susan for next week. Social media wise, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, YouTube, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us.
We're there. We're omnipresent.
Yeah, we are. We're there already. You just have to find us. Yeah. Right. So, but for another week, let's talk about flicks. I'm Oz.
I'm Curtis.
And we'll see you guys next week with Desperately Seeking Susan.